I don't have time for this crap today.
Okay, it's on now. You're on mute. Anyway, hello guys.
Yep.
This is Ori, and it is Monday, and it's welcome to Coffee with Ori. Today's subject, I want to talk about two things. The first thing is how people react or treat you when you start to do well or when you're doing well. And also, when to say no, when to look at people, no matter what situation you may think they're going through, and you're always helping, whether it's family, friends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you always seem to be the word of reason, or the person who's there, or the person that gives advice, or the person who shows love. But when is it okay to say no? So these are the two things that I want to talk about today, because they're subjects that are very important. And I might have touched on some of these subjects in the past, but they keep coming around, like a bad hangover. And I notice it more and more on a daily basis. And I notice it with my neighbors. I notice it with people that I care about, and the reactions that either their partners have towards them or people that our family members have towards them. Now, the first thing is this. One thing that life has shown me growing up through my years of being on my own and doing things on my own and taking care of myself on my own is that if it were not for the kindness of strangers, I would not have succeeded in things that I have succeeded in. Not family, but strangers. And it's sad to say, but it's reality. The second thing that I have to say is that not all people want to see you fail. But yet again, not all people want to see you super succeed. Now, with this being said, you have to understand the concept of misery loves company, because misery does love company. We're not talking about the devil, or we're not talking about this or that, or what people may assume that it's misery. We're talking about people who are truly miserable, people who have no lives, people who have nothing really going on in their lives except the reality of their own negativity. And the reality that we see, but we often as friends try to help them deflect away from the negativity, but they're so used to being negative towards people, towards themselves, and towards life, period, that they don't even realize that they're negative. It's so easy. It's easier for them to blame you or to say you're negative than for them to accept the fact that they're negative. I may have 21 million things wrong with me and maybe have 21 personalities. But the one thing that I can say is that I am happy. I may not be overjoyed where I want to do cartwheels every day, but I'm not suicidal. I don't want to end my life, or I don't want to end up in the street, or I do not want to end up on someone's couch. I don't want to do any of those things. I want to live. I want to carry myself. I want to be able to continue to move forward the way that I have been. I don't want to be a codependent of anyone. I don't want enablers in my life. And I definitely do not want people to believe that they can take credit for my successes. You can give me advice, I'll take your advice, but you cannot say that you put me where I'm at because I put myself where I'm at. The opportunity showed itself. I took advantage and I put myself there. But it wasn't the fact that I took advantage of anyone. It was my determination to continue to keep going that actually put me where I'm at. Now, sometimes we grow up around people that we tend to care about and we love them, or we may meet them as teenagers, or we may meet them in high school or junior high or freshman, whenever. And they may grow up to be as old as us. And we're around them and they're around us and we have good things to say. And they may have good things to say today, but then the minute you start to change and shift in a different direction, and they see that your progression, how people are attracted to you, how people attach themselves to you, how people want to see you move forward, how opportunities open up. And then what they do is they talk nothing but crap, and they try to make you feel as if you did something wrong. If you left them, or you walked away from them, or you didn't care about them enough, or things like, I did this for you, I did that for you, but they're not looking at the bigger picture of, yes, you might have done this, but for it to be reciprocal, I've given equally or more. And I'm sure a lot of you have as well. So my advice to you is, no matter what you do, and a lot of times family, hey Kat, how are you? And welcome. Niete, how are you? Light and love to all of you. Coralis, light and love. So a lot of us, I think, have gone through this with when it comes to envy and jealousy of friends and family. It's very sad that it happens. But like I said, there is a saying, and it is real, and misery likes company. And unfortunately, sometimes the company that we keep are the ones that actually are miserable, and they make us seem like we're codependent. Oh no, we're codependent, when in reality they're the ones that are codependent, and they need us. We don't need them. So when we start to climb up and we start to make it, then it bothers them, because their failures become our successes. At least that's the way they see it. So one of the things that I want to reiterate on is the fact that everyone has an opportunity to grow. And the opportunity that you have to grow, or the opportunity that comes your way, it's an opportunity for you that Spirit has given you, that God, spirits, angels, guides have given you, to show you what your abilities are. And 97% of the time, they come in moments when you're sad, when you're depressed, when you're going through something, and the opportunity jumps at you, or an opportunity comes to you. And if you smart enough to take the leap of faith, you tend to get better, and you tend to grow, and you tend to change. And those things are good. But it's when you stay stuck that you become like everyone else. You become just another number. You become just another person. You become just another human being sitting around doing nothing. Nothing, because if your partner is doing nothing, there's a big percentage that when you're with that person, you become like them. It's only when you have your awakening, it's only when you start to analyze the people you're around, and you start to realize, I don't want to be around that person. I don't want to be around that person. I need to pull away from this person, because this person is either too gossipy, this person is too problematic, this person is always depressed, this person is always complaining, this person is always miserable, and they're never doing anything for themselves. Me? all of the above. I know, because I used to live a very great, I used to live a very sad life, very young, and then I lived a mediocre life, and then I lived a good life. And then I went from living a good life to living a mediocre life, to living a sad life again, to living a paranoid life, to losing everything, to finally getting away from everyone that I knew and start a new life, and removed myself from the pity parties and the people who are constantly pointing out my defects, or pointing out, well, you know that you're sick. Well, guess what? I am who I am. I don't ever claim to be something that I'm not. I don't lie when it comes. I don't like liars, and I don't lie when it comes to things. You ask me, I had I'll give you I'll give you an instance. Yesterday, and for you guys that don't know, I have a new car. So, hey, I was getting out of the car, and my neighbor asked me a question. Lady that lives in the front, she's really cool, and she asked me something, and I was kind of spacey, and I didn't realize that I didn't take my pills yesterday. Actually, I didn't take them yesterday. I didn't take them today. It's not because I did it purposely. I forgot. And she asked me a question, and I kind of was like a little spacey. I guess she noticed it, and she asked me a question. And I said, look, I'm bipolar. So sometimes you may look at me and it may look like I have a nasty face on, but I generally am not in a bad mood. I'm always in a good mood. I try to be quiet. I enjoy my space. I enjoy my quiet time. I enjoy the things that are personal to me, like the sound of the birds when I'm walking, from my house across my lawn and the trees and stuff. I like to hear the birds, and I like to look up in the sky. I like to look around, and I like to be in my head trying to figure out what my show is going to be on a Monday, or trying to figure out what I'm going to do as far as business that's coming up. So that is my truth. It's not a lie. It's my truth. So I stand by my truth. I'm not embarrassed by my truth, and you have to state the facts and tell the truth. You cannot hide from someone and think that people are going to judge you. I honestly don't care if people judge me. The bottom line is, I know who I am. I know what my capabilities are. I know where I've been. I know how I got there. I know where I was when I started, and I know exactly where I am now and where I'm about to go. So if people are going to hate, they're going to hate me even more when I evolve more. There are people on here that are really good friends of mine that I admire a great deal. Why? Because they had an idea and people judged them. And now they're making their ideas become a reality. And that, to me, takes a lot of effort. That, to me, shows determination. And that's the key. That's what we have to have, determination about what it is that we want. And it doesn't matter who likes us and who doesn't like us, because the world is filled with people. The world is filled with good people, and the world is filled with mediocre people, and it's filled with bad people. So at the end of the day, you have to learn to distinguish the difference between the good and the bad and the ugly. And how do you do that? By always listening, being still. You don't have to talk, just listen. In any conversation that you are with anyone you meet that's new, listen. And if you listen to people long enough, they'll tell you lies, and they'll tell you their stories, and they'll feed you some bullshit. But if you really know, and in your heart you have that inner voice that's telling you this person is full of shit, walk away. You don't owe people anything. Walking away is very easy. You don't have to socialize with people if you don't want to socialize with them. It's not a sin to choose healthy boundaries for yourself. It's not a sin. It's not a sin to want to do better, to want to have better. It's not a sin to want to improve your life and improve your family's life without having to socialize with the other part of you or your family or their family. It's not sinful. It's not sinful for you to want and have needs. And even though people may say, well, you should be grateful. Yeah, you wake up in the morning and you're grateful. Yeah, but why not? I'm very grateful, and I let the universe know every day I'm grateful. And I also say, may I have some more, please? Why not? It's what I want. It's not what someone else wants for me or tells me that I should have. And automatically, because they feel that I should have it, then it should come to me. But if they also feel that I shouldn't have it, then why are you asking for more? You should be grateful. No. Being grateful is one thing. Living in gratitude is one thing. But if you don't have all the things that you want, why not ask for more? That's not being ungrateful. It's just asking for more. The universe is filled with so many wonderful things. Spirits, angels, guides, God. God is the biggest bank that we know. Why not ask God for money? We were taught not to ask God for money because it was sinful to ask God for money. Why? God has the biggest bank in the world. Why not ask him for what you need? I know I've asked God, I need a car. This is what I would need. And, thanks to people that really, really, really care about me, put their heads together, and, the universe came together and, hey, Ron, how are you? Mr. Angel Man, the Angel Whisperer. How you doing? So, like I said, once I give and I ask, it came. I asked for a number, and the number that I asked for came. So at the end of the day, I was very specific about what I wanted. And yes, God is abundance. And God has the power to show you that he's God. And that's what people don't understand. The angels have power to show you that they're angels, and they show you that by numbers. I don't know much about that, but the gentleman, Ron, he knows. The angel whisperer, who has ever gotten read from him or by him, he's also here. He was on the screen a minute ago. He also works alongside of us in this network, the Alchemy Food Network, and the people that I've recommended to him that have gotten read by him find him to be amazing. And I think that personally, I find them to be amazing too. And the things that the angels have to say, that it's not coming from just him. It's coming from a higher power, because some of the things that he talks about, it's impossible for him to know. And I know that people tell me the same. When you read me, it's impossible because there's a lot of things but I communicate with the dead. I don't communicate with angels. This guy communicates with angels. So I call him the Angel Whisperer. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying to you. Guys, listen. If you want to be an Uber driver, be an Uber driver. If you want to design, there are many designers out there. You don't have to just design clothes. You can design many things. And you do it. I mean, people know, like Kat and Dr. D and other people that are here that know. I mean, I went through a phase where I decided to design jewelry. And I sold my jewelry for a great deal of money. Not jewelry, gold, but it was crystals, but it was outrageous, chunky pieces. And, actually when I moved here to Florida, I had one was a girl. I was invited to a photo shoot where they used one of the necklaces, and then I was invited to another show from someone in Miami that also used one of the necklaces that I made. So I feel grateful. God works through people you thought me. Hey. Yeah, God works through people. God works through everything. You could be sad today, because you hear so and so is talking about you because you're succeeding, and you have it in your heart because it happens to me and a lot of people like me. We may not have had the support of family the way that we needed it, but we found that through strangers we found the love. But then when they betray you, it hurts you to your inner core where you just want to lay down and die. So there are many a times where I've been really sad and I open my window in the morning to make coffee and I listen to the birds and it just makes me laugh. And they cheer me up and they give me this inspiration. Yeah, you do actually own a piece, right? A piece of the jewelry that I made. Kat, yeah. Well, like that. But I actually made even more pieces before I left New Jersey, and I left it to the woman who owned the store, so that that I gave them to her. That I designed them for her so she can just sell them. So down the line, guys, I want you to know, for you guys that know me, there are things in the mix. There are a lot of projects in the mix of a lot of things that I'm going to be working on. Eventually, yes, I would have a physical store. I will start off with an online store first, and then I will have a physical store. But I will be involved in many things like before, but a little bit different. My own fragrances, my own lotions, my own, just different things that I used to do before, but on a bigger scale. And that's all provided by the universe. So they always say it's not good to talk about what you're going to do. It's not a matter of talking about it because I'm going to do it. It's a matter of talking about it because it's already started. So therefore, for you people out there that want to start and you want to achieve something and you want to grow, stop listening to your miserable partner. Stop listening to your miserable family if they're miserable. Stop listening to your miserable friends if they're miserable. Stop talking about it to people who can never be or who can never walk in your shoes. Stop. Continue. Doesn't matter if people think you're crazy. You follow your dream, follow your goal. Be persistent. Don't give up. Just keep pushing, because just like water doesn't make a hole because it's water and it's powerful. It makes a hole because it's persistent. It keeps going. So you have to be the same way. You have to be persistent. You have to show not just God, because God inspires you. The spirits inspire you. The angels are there guiding your hand through everything. But don't prove it to them. Prove it to yourself that you are capable because you want to do this. And when people laugh at you or make jokes at you or think that every little thing, because it has happened to me, where you tell them that you have an idea and you share your idea with them and automatically they laugh at you like you're an idiot, like, oh my God, how are you going to pull that off? That mentality is what's kept poor people poor. That mentality is what's kept people struggling. And that mentality of crying, of complaining about money all the time is what keeps you complaining about money. It doesn't allow you to grow. It took me, let me back up a minute. It didn't take me years to know this, because I will tell you that I will lie. When I was younger, I never cared about money. I always had it. When I worked corporate America, I always had money. I always had jewelry. I always had money. I always had businesses. I always read. It was a time that I didn't charge anything to read because I made a lot of money. I've traveled. I've learned a lot. And then there was a time where fear set in because of money, and because the fear set in, and because I was betrayed by people who I kept giving to, I became so afraid and fearful that my confidence level went down the hill, but so did everything else. My money, my self-confidence, my home, everything left. And it wasn't until I realized, again, not just by certain people talking to me, but just by analyzing people around me and analyzing their mentalities, I realized that, one, it doesn't hurt to ask when you need something. That's one. Two, it's better to ask than to steal. Yeah, the naysayers. You're absolutely right. So, two, it is okay to know that you're in need, but it's not okay to be fearful of it. Three, if you make money an issue, money will always become an issue. So my mantra is, Lord, I'm in the mood to eat a steak today, but I don't have the money to eat a steak today, but I know that tomorrow you will provide it for me. So tomorrow I'll have a steak. And that's it. That's my mantra. I may not have it today, but I know that I will tomorrow. I may not feel okay today, but I know that tomorrow I will. I know that I am not exactly where I want to be today, but I know that tomorrow I will. And that is walking by faith and not by sight. And that's what keeps me going. And that's what keeps me continuously doing what I do and want to do more and want to expand myself and want to just keep helping. So it's very important for you people out there, for the people that know me, the people who care about me, the people that I love, the people that just see me, but they don't make themselves visible, but they know that I'm on and they do watch me. If maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, but they listen to the word. They also, people that also log on to my Facebook, which is about 5,000 now, they log on to my Facebook, and I put an affirmation on every day, and I put on a thought of the day and a action step and different things that I post from other people. But the things that I post personally every day is to inspire everyone to do good for themselves, to push themselves, to push their limits and not be afraid to push them, to be the one to push your own buttons, to see which triggers you to push forward and which trigger pushes you to push backwards. And knowing those personal triggers within yourself, the triggers that you yourself tell yourself that make you not succeed, those are the ones that you have to stay away from. So you have to change whatever it is that you're saying to yourself, or you're believing in your head that you're not going to succeed, or you're not going to make it, or I'll do it tomorrow because I'm going to be doing something else. Well, if you ain't got shit to do tomorrow, then do it tomorrow. But don't say you're going to do it and not do it. Whatever you need to do, do it. Plain and simple. Things are the way they are. Things will move when they have to move. Things will shift when they are ready to shift. Sometimes you're not ready for the shift and you think you are, but sometimes you're not ready. So the shift doesn't happen quickly because you're not ready. And then on top of the fact that you're not ready, because you're not ready, you're automatically assuming that you have no luck at all. So therefore, it's not going to happen. That's where you're wrong, because everything in life happens. We got 1 minute, guys, before we go on commercial. It's 9:29, so at 9:30 we'll go on commercial, and then we're going to talk about the other subject, which is when to say no and when you have to say no and not be afraid to say no. With this that I'm telling you is keep yourself focused. Keep yourself motivated. No matter what goes on, understand that God, spirit, angel, guides, the universe is always on time. They're never late. So if you're behind on your rent, or you're behind on the bill, and it's 3 days before the time to pay the bill, don't panic. Even if you have to ask someone for it, don't panic. The solution will come. Now we're going to commercial because it is 9:30, so it's time for commercial. When I come back, I will talk about how to say no. Hmm. I know who's going. Well, hello guys, and I am back. Now, at this moment, I'm going to ask, before I continue on this new subject, is there anything that any of you would like to know? Please feel free to either call or ask before I move on to the next subject. Hey, Sadia. Yes, don't be a procrastinator. That's right, Corali. That's what you have to do. You have to push yourself. No matter how bad you feel, no matter how ill you feel, no matter how sad you feel, you push yourself every day to your limit. I want you guys to know that you guys are all appreciated. I appreciate you very much. I send you light and love every day because all of you have gone through things and have passed through the needle's eye, and you've survived many things, and now you're learning how to walk again. And I'm very proud of you guys because it's not easy when you fall and you keep falling and you keep falling, and you finally decide, I've had enough of falling and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to pick myself up. Now, I don't know who this message is for. So before I begin, I'm going to tell you there's a message. Spirit just relayed a message to someone. I don't know who it is. I don't know who is going through this at this particular moment. But the message is, if you feel alone, you will always be alone. Understand that you're never alone. Even when you're not with a physical person, there is always someone watching over you. There is always someone that God has sent to watch over you and help you to move forward. There are changes coming. This month, right now, May, from this point on to the end of May, it's going to be a very productive month for Tauruses, for Geminis, for Cancers, for Leos, for Virgos. Aries, especially Aries men, is going to be a little hard because sometimes Aries, you can be a little strong and you can be a little bullheaded. and you may not want to always believe or feel. Taurus, you're an amazing human being, but you have to think with your head and not with your heart. Geminis, what is there to say? 1 minute you're thinking about one thing and the next minute you're thinking about the other thing. But when you guys come together, both of you come together in unison, you work magic. Cancers, we are lovable, but a little too lovable. And sometimes we don't know when to not be lovable. So we fall on our faces, and then we want to pretend that the world is kind when the world really isn't kind. Like I always say, people, I don't really believe too much in people. I believe in humanity. So at the end of the day, Cancers, you have to learn that sometimes a jackass is just a jackass. Doesn't matter if it's past, present, or even someone you think about in the future that you had in your past or even in your present. If there's a jackass in the past and a jackass in the present, in the future will be just as much as a jackass. So think about these things, guys. But it is a month of a lot of changes, a lot of positive changes. It's a good month to start a business. It's a good month to buy property. It's a good month, believe it or not, to start taking something like yoga or walking or running or anything that's helpful and healthy for you. Okay. Now, moving along with the other subject, which is when to say no. Okay. Many times we find ourselves in a situation, whether it be watching family, observing family, growing up in religious families where we're taught to forgive and constantly forgive. And no matter what they do to you, whether they spit at you or they steal from you or they call you names or they rape you or they whatever, you're taught to believe that you have to forgive them, because by you forgiving them, then there will be a place in heaven for you. The concept might seem like a really cool concept. It may seem like a very nice concept. I've said it to you guys many, many times before. It doesn't mean because I say it, I want you guys to do it that way, but I'm not a forgiving person. So at the end of the day, I'm not Christ and I'm not God, and I can't forgive you for you hurting me, because by me doing that is me giving you a pass, and that's giving you. So there again, you're giving of yourself, whether it's financial, emotionally, physically, and you never stop. So what we're taught to believe is that we have to forgive, and we forgive not for others, but we forgive for ourselves. Yeah, but you know what? When we forgive them, we're giving them. We're giving them a solid. So not only did we let them take from us or hurt us or say things to us, we've forgiven them. So we've given them another pass for them to do it again. So when I'm talking about saying no, I'm not only just talking about finances. I'm not just talking about favors. I'm also talking about forgiveness. I'm also talking about life itself. You know, how are you going to... Okay, I'm glad, Kat, because a lot of people don't agree. Wow, good to know. Yeah, that's the one thing. If you're with someone or if you love someone and you have done everything in your power to love them, and you give and you give and you give, and they are not receptive to your love, and all they do is downplay you and make you feel like shit, why do you keep on giving them? Why do you keep forgiving them? And then when people ask you, you say, because I love them and because I forgive them. Well, God blesses me because I forgive them. Really? Really? Do you actually know that to be true? Have you not read the Bible in the beginning where it says God is a wrathful God? I leave it to him and I tell him, you be the judge and the jury. I don't have the time for it, nor do I have space in my heart for it. So I say no. I don't give anybody the opportunity to hurt me twice. Why? That's not being able to say no. If you really want to forgive yourself for allowing it to happen, then you know what? You could disconnect. And if you see them in the street, do what I do. Walk around like they're ghosts. They don't exist. Like you see spirits. If you see spirits, treat them like ghosts. Ignore them. Don't even say hi to them. Just keep walking. That is the worst punishment that you can give someone that hurts you to your core, is to ignore them. Because people that use you mentally, emotionally, physically, financially will always need from you. Not the other way around. They will always need something from you. And the more that you keep forgiving them, and the more that you keep opening that door by giving, they're just going to keep doing it to you because they, in their mind, they already have come to terms with the fact that you're an idiot. And if you're one of those people that forgive 1,000,001 times because, oh, well, I want to forgive because I don't want to carry that burden with me. Well, you know what? If you close the goddamn door and you let them out and they're not in your life anymore, why are you carrying the burden? There's no reason to carry any burden unless you're socializing with them. Then you have the reason to worry, and you have the reason to ponder and feel like, oh my God, what can I do to make things better? Nothing. Fucking walk away. You don't have to do anything. The bottom line is, I know that people may say, wow, he's so different. You know, he meditated so much. He was a Buddhist. He was this, and he was, you know, a vegan a long time ago. He did that. Yeah, I was all of those things, and I still am all of those things. The only difference is now I'm not stupid. That's the only difference. Before I was naive, but I am no longer naive. I'm very, very, very well aware. Although I play naive. See, play naive is wonderful when people think you're stupid and naive. But when people think that you're stupid and naive, is when you get to really see who they are, not who they want you to see that you are. Is actually you get to see who they are. Their real colors, their true colors actually come out because you get to see them for who they are. So you make a mistake and and this person talks shit about you. Big deal. The world talks about everybody. Everybody talks about everybody. There's nothing new about it. Everyone in life has something to say about someone. Maybe you're my best friend and today you did something that I didn't like, and I'm going to be like, damn, you know, this person is such a fucking asshole. Excuse my language, but it's reality. So yeah, I would say that. If you talk about me, I'm going to talk about you too. So just remember that. I'm always aware when people are talking about me. So if you talk about me, I'm going to talk about you too. So I always let you know that. If you come to me talking crap about a friend of mine that I'm close to, I'm going to tell you too. I'm going to tell that person that you were talking shit about them to me. I don't have a problem with that. Now that we have cell phones, I just call them. So-and-so is talking shit about you right now with me. Because you know what? The reality is you cannot give people passes. You cannot continue to give people that entrance into your life so they can come in there and take the light that you have that emanates so clear of a white candle and make you into a gray candle. And then when they leave, they're a white candle and you're gray because they filled you up with their bullshit. You can't continue to do that. See, when it comes to money, sometimes it's not a matter of saying no. Sometimes you should say yes. Why? I have gotten rid of people in my life that have owed me $20 and they have ran from me for $20 and I've never spoken to them again. And you know what? Guess what? It was $20 that I paid them to get out of my life. That was what they were worth, $20. So even if you have somebody in your life and you've been with them a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they took your last penny and all you had was maybe $5,000, guess what? That was what that person was worth, $5,000. No more than that. Any material thing that you've lost, you can always replace. What you cannot replace is your peace of mind. You cannot replace your heart, and you cannot replace the kind person you are and loving person. Those are things that you cannot give them away and then get them back. Once you give them away, you can't get them back. So if someone takes from you, whether it's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, walk away. You have the option to either stay there or you have the option to walk away. And for everyone, and I'm not talking about just women, okay? And I'm going to go over here. I'm talking about men too who are gay. When you are with someone that has hurt you, whether it's verbally, and they call you out your name, and I say this all the time, there is no dick in this world that is good enough Yes, it's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And I'll talk about that in a second. So I tell women and I tell friends that are gay, there's no dick that's made out of penis that is so good that you have to keep forgiving because you enjoy the sex. You enjoy the sex, get a vibrator. There's plenty of them. They got different sizes, different shapes. They even got some that do things that you wouldn't even believe. But anyway, that's a different story for another day. Now, what the gentleman spoke about was when you become a victim of your own mother's tragedies or grandmother's or family's mental drama, their mentality of illness or pity parties, they're victim of mentality and bad luck, the negative goal setting. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. Well, actually, sometimes you have to sit down with your parents and you have to let them know what's in your heart and not be angry about it. I had to do it. I know there are people out there that never got the opportunity to do it because their parents died. But there are people out there that have the opportunity to do it now, and they should take advantage of it. When something bothers you, you sit them down and you let them know, you have said this and this and this and this, and you've hurt me. But at the same time, I've allowed you to hurt me because I don't know when to say no to you. I keep coming back to you to ask for an approval. And all you keep doing is shitting on me, and I keep allowing it because I keep forgiving you, and I keep giving you the okay and saying it's okay. You have a partner and you're always fighting for the stupidest shit. Why are you with them? Plain and simple. If you're going to complain and you're not going to do nothing about your situation, why are you in it? When you're in a relationship, I believe in communicating. I'm a big communicator. Maybe they may think I talk a lot of shit. I don't care. I sit down and I talk. I don't argue. I don't bring up the past. If I have an issue with you today, I want to sit down with you today and talk about it. The latest tomorrow. I don't wait a week. When you wait a week, you have nothing but tragedy. So don't wait a week. If you have a problem with people, let them go. If you cannot let them go, sit them down. Do not become a victim of your own circumstances. Do not become a victim of your own foolishness by not being able to say no. Mothers have to learn to say no to their children. Mothers cannot give their children everything and expect their children to turn out perfect. It's never going to happen. You give them the necessities. You give them things and tools that you know that will help them. You don't bring them into this generation and expect them to be like every other spoiled brat kid that a lot of mothers buy their love by giving them the latest things just so they don't have to deal with their bullshit. No, if you can't be a mother, then you should have never had that child. Plain and simple. I preach that all the time. If you cannot be the mother that you're supposed to be, then you should never have the child. You should have closed your legs, or you should have gotten your ovaries removed so that you can never have children. Because not every woman is meant to be a mother. And the ones that have the misfortune of losing their children through divorce or through trauma or through something negative, don't beat yourself up about it, especially if you know that you were a good mother. Things in life happen, and unfortunately, we live in a society today that many states, and women don't know this, many states like Florida and Alabama and Kentucky and Pennsylvania and Ohio, and there's a few other states up in upstate New York, and a few other states in this country of ours that really go for the men. And women, you don't have a chance. If you don't have a job and you're a homemaker and your man is working, trust me, you don't have a chance. The courts won't listen to you if you're a woman. The courts will only listen to the man, and they will actually give custody to the man. And no matter what you point out to them, the justice system does not care, because they're not for women. They're against women. They're for men, for men's rights. So my thing is, to you people out there, if you get hit, if you get being abused, and you have a man who's abusing you, and you go call the cops and you keep taking them back, invest in a bat. Invest in a bat. Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. Invest in the bat. And when they come at you, you beat them and you don't stop. You beat them until they can't move anymore. That's a way to close the door. That's a way of saying, no, I will not take this anymore. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to know that not everybody that cries wolf needs help. You have to know that not every child needs to have an iPod or an iPhone. What's the sense of buying your child an iPhone if you're buying yourself an LG? You're going to spend $1,000 and getting your child an expensive phone, but you're going to get yourself a cheap one. That doesn't make any sense. And if you think that it does, then you're stupid. And I don't like that word stupid, but you are. Why would you spend $110 on a pair of sneakers on a child that you would not spend on yourself? You have to learn to say no. Close those doors and say no. The way that, I'm not saying the way we were treated was any good, because growing up, let me tell you, our parents were not easy. I remember I only got beat once by my mother, once, and it was for stealing something when I was maybe 6 from my sister, and my mom beat me, and she hit me with a telephone cord. So in those days, mothers were vicious. They would take a telephone cord from the wall and they will beat your ass. They will make you take a switch from the tree and peel it, and they will beat you with that switch until you bled, until your skin lifted. Okay, I remember that. I remember my brother getting hit in the bathtub when he was showering with a belt, a leather belt. Do you know what damage that does? To do something. Using other people to justify my excuses not to do something. Yes, I agree with you, Ron. And that does happen a lot. That does happen a lot. You know, we come from a generation, it's really sad to say, but we do come from a generation where a lot of women chose to be women before they were mothers. And that made it ugly, because some of us, and I'm not saying all, some of us ended up with stepfathers that were horrible, that did horrible things to us. But that is the past. The key is to move beyond that and to know that if you were taught to forgive, that is like saying yes all the time. You don't want to keep saying yes. If you have to walk away from someone, walk away. If you have to put an X on your family tree and walk away and start a new life somewhere else, then by God, do it. Who is stopping you? Bible says God helps those who help themselves. So he's letting you know, you need help? Help yourself. And then I will help you through it. Through the rough times, I will be there. But you got to start. You got to help yourself. You got to be the one to close the door and say no. You can't blame your mama. You can't blame your father. You can't blame your cousin. You can't blame people, especially now if you're an adult. You cannot blame your past on your present situation. You cannot blame things that are going on in your life or has gone in your life a week ago to people that you have allowed to infest your mind like a cockroaches. You can't do that. When you feel that the negative impulses are starting to feed on you, it's when you need to walk away. When you feel that they are a trigger, you need to walk away. When you feel that you have no one and all you do is just pray, understand that by you praying, it might not even be you that's doing it. It might even be your angel that's pushing you to do it, to pray, to muster up faith where you didn't have it, and to become stronger in your faith. Not by reading the Bible, but by talking to God directly and talking to your spirit angels and guides and everything that's around you to help you through the bad times in your life. I swear, if it were not for God or the devil, I would not be alive today. And that's the God's honest truth. But I also know that the angels play a real big part in my life, but my life is a spiritual list. Communicating with the dead is who I am, is who I've always been, it's who I am supposed to be. And although I might have pushed it aside because of family jargon or bullshit, or this one didn't believe, or my friends would make fun of me, I didn't care. I don't care now. If you don't like who I am, don't come and visit me. Don't socialize with me. Don't talk to me. Believe me, there are people that live ahead of you. There are people that live on the next block. There are people that live a mile away from here. I will always meet new people because that is the way that spirits, angels, and guides have made it. So, guys, it's not just about finances. It's not just about saying no. It's about knowing inside that you're saying no to something you believe in. Don't open the door for a child or a teenager and let them do whatever the hell they want. And then all of a sudden, when you don't agree with what they're doing, you decide that you want to hit them now. You can't do that because they're doing that because you allowed them to do it. If you would have stopped them from the beginning and closed that door and said no, then you would not have to continue this back and forth. So, guys, saying no is not just about doing people favors. It's not just about enabling people. It's not just about, having a little argument with your spouse or anything like that. Saying no means not allowing people to take advantage of you, not allowing people to step back into your life when they've tried to destroy you and or hurt you. When people take from you without asking, they steal. When people do things against you to hurt you, why are you taking them back? Why are you thinking that they're going to change? People change when people are hurt. But when people do the hurting, it's very rare that they change. And when they do change, they change only because they have no choice but to change. Only because they see that if they don't change, they're going to be out in the street. People are not stupid, okay? People know what side of the bun to eat from, whether it's the right side or the left side. They know how to get to you, okay? We have 1 minute, guys. I hope that I've been helpful. Like I said, I talk about anything that people present to me, and I talk to you about it the way that I look at my life and the way that I look at life, period, and the people that I've met in my life. Bye, Felicia. That's what you have to say. That's right, Ron. That's what you have to say to people. Bye, Felicia. Take your drama and trauma somewhere else. That's what you need to tell people. Take your drama and trauma to someone else. Actually, someone who cares. So at the end of the day, guys, I love you guys. I wish you light and love. I wish you happiness and joy because you all deserve it. And remember to release. Take a deep breath. And what? Release it. Like I showed you last week. Release it. Let it go. Let all that good go. I love you guys. Yes. People will play games and they will push the buttons only if you allow them to. Anyway, it's Coffee with Ori. I'm leaving. I will talk to you guys next week. Love and light. You guys want me to do anything or talk about anything? Post it, and we will talk next week. Take care of yourself. Bye.